Yes.
What would your season 12 Jensen say? What does
Put a bigger engine in the Impala. I don't know if you guys know this, but for the longest time we had a very small block engine in that car, and it took me like 6 years of like kind of kicking and screaming to be like, can we please beef the car up? Because when people show up to set, the fans stop by the set, and I'm sitting there and I get in the car and it starts up and it's like, I'm very embarrassed. So they finally put a big block 502 in it, season 7, season 6, season 7. But I don't know, that's one of many things I would say season 1. Yeah.
There's a meme that says, you've been killing since 05, and then I still think if we outlive Vampire Diaries, the show should end with us coming to town. Are you guys going into town?
Yeah, the show's ending, isn't it?
Yeah. So
I would totally be game for that. We wouldn't even have to be there. You could just see the Impala buildings. I think they should do that. I don't know that their showrunner would go for it, but I would be game.
that
Yeah.
I would love that.
Right.
That's all anyone needs, pretty much. Jensen's in.
Over, Arrow and Flash and
Supergirl.
every other show. We never get across. I usually only do one, and it's the first one up.
Yeah.
So we'll film it first, but then it airs like 3 or 4. And the reason we do that, the reason we pull it up and shoot out of order is so that I can show up early, prep, get all that stuff done while not having to work, as playing Dean on another episode. But doing that, it is like I do not take that that responsibility lightly. I bust my ass and do a ton of homework, and it's exhausting after 7 days of prep, 8 days of filming, and then 2 or 3 days of editing. And I don't have time to recover. I go right back into to filming, and so I kind of equate it to running a marathon, but sprinting the first 3 miles. So you're just exhausted. It's like there's not a lot left in the tank. I've done it and I can do it, but this year I wanted to stay at home. I was also I also had to come back 2 weeks early and start working, and then he shows up 2 weeks after I've already been there and staying up sleepless nights, breaking down the script, and he shows up and he's bearded and tan, and I'm like, what have you been doing? He's like, oh man, I'm just kicking about the pool for the past 2 weeks. And I'm like, I want to do that. So I did that this year.
Good.
Yeah.
We're also really, really thrilled to have Mary back on the show.
Yes.
So what do you think Dean's going to react first? Scared, excited?
Well, I think there's a lot of uncertainty. He obviously it is his mom, but there's no relationship there. She died when he was 4 years old, so she's essentially a stranger to him, but a stranger nonetheless that I think will kind of lends itself to making the boys vulnerable and susceptible to problems. If somebody, it's another person that Dean's going to have to probably sacrifice himself for.